How's it going, everyone? Got a lot to talk about as far as Xbox games on PlayStation updates. It looks like Phil Spencer is doing the media rounds. He's appearing on a lot of podcasts, doing interviews, talking about Xbox's multi-platform strategy. I want to talk about a few particulars that I find rather interesting, and I do want to highlight some specific wording that I've constantly seen Phil Spencer and this multi-platform strategy be said. It's not anything wrong by Phil Spencer, but I do find it rather interesting. So he appeared on Gamertag Radio and noted this: it does mean more of our games shipping on more platforms, not just PlayStation. We love the work we do with Nintendo. We love what we do with Valve on Steam. Our games will show up in more and more places. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this isn't the first time where Phil Spencer or anybody really talking about Microsoft's multi-platform strategy has pivoted from the idea of, oh, our games are coming to PlayStation, and want to emphasize our games are also coming to Nintendo platforms, our games are also coming to Valve and Steam on those platforms. And there is one crucial difference of Microsoft games appearing on Nintendo platforms and Microsoft games appearing on Steam. It's that I think most people would agree, to what extent in today's climate is arguable, but Xbox and PlayStation are the direct competitors. That's why it's such a big deal that Xbox is putting their games on PlayStation more so than them putting their games on a Nintendo platform, more so than them putting their games on PC. And I don't see this noted that often. Yeah, Nintendo is always gonna remain exclusive. Like, they don't put their games on any platform, but PlayStation has also adopted a multi-platform approach. Yeah, PlayStation releases their games on PC. Spider-Man 2 is about to drop on PC. Horizon's dropped on PC. Forbidden West, God of War, Days Gone, Uncharted, Last of Us Part 2 is coming out in April. A lot of games have dropped on Steam, much like Microsoft drops their games on Steam. Oh, by the way, PlayStation also recently just published a game on Nintendo Switch, Lego Horizon. Lego Horizon was released on the Switch day one alongside PC, alongside PlayStation 5. So PlayStation's going this multi-platform approach as well. And then I should also note there's MLB The Show, but that's kind of baked into the contract with MLB that I believe that game has to be on every platform. But nevertheless, MLB The Show is kind of an outlier. What hasn't PlayStation done? PlayStation hasn't given Microsoft and Xbox any games. I would like them to, in the sense that it'd be great that more people would be able to play these games, but Xbox is bringing forth their games on over to PlayStation, the direct competitor, and getting nothing in return. Now, you could make the argument that, hey, PlayStation put Lego Horizon on Nintendo Switch, and I actually foresee PlayStation putting more games on the Nintendo Switch, but they're not getting anything in return. But I would argue at that point the Nintendo Switch isn't a direct competitor where it's really eating at the Nintendo Switch's sales. I do believe PlayStation 5 definitely does eat at the Xbox's sales. I don't think that's... If PlayStation 5 did not exist, I think Microsoft and Xbox as a console, as far as sales go, would be at a much healthier place. If Nintendo Switch didn't exist, would PlayStation be at a healthier place sales-wise? Yeah, maybe a little bit, but not to this gargantuan extent. You guys get what I'm saying, but PlayStation didn't even throw a bone to Microsoft with Lego Horizons and drop that on Xbox, and Xbox is going to be bringing forth all of these major games to their platform. I think that's the key element to all of this that sometimes gets lost in the, oh, they're going multi-platform, they're all in on multi-platform. Whoa, PlayStation's all in on multi-platform. Yeah, they're all in on multi-platform to an extent. And for me, I always say that in a vacuum, it is great that people on PlayStation are going to have options to play more games, that Indiana Jones is coming, that there's rumblings of Halo, Gears, etc., etc. What I ultimately worry about, and I'll say this again, is Xbox as a console in the market space getting weaker, PlayStation having free reign in the console market space, and them having free reign is just horrifying to me. I do not want to live in a world where PlayStation is the only console, and Xbox dropping all of their games on PlayStation, I do think inches us closer to that. Now, I also think Xbox has a little bit of a one foot out the door kind of a thing when it comes to Xbox as a console, and the Xbox brand is so much more than just the console itself. It's just the console space. It would be nice to have that direct competition, so PlayStation just doesn't have free reign to do whatever they want. I have a lot of opinions on Microsoft and their thought process going forward in the sense of not having as much emphasis on consoles. I do find it interesting that Xbox as a console, particularly that console, who is that console being made for? Because if ultimately we do live in this world that Phil Spencer is noting that they're not going to have these walled gardens with their releases, who is the Xbox for? Well, Xbox has a lot of opportunity in the sense that they've got a premier console with Game Pass. I feel like Game Pass is the biggest drawing card to Xbox as a console. If you want to stick to console gaming and you want Game Pass because of the value it offers, that's great. Where I would push back on that the amount of people that would find a lot of value in Game Pass, keyword their value, that are also console gamers, and would outweigh the value of Game Pass out of the value of PlayStation for just having more games, in the sense that PlayStation is always going to have the first party, as weak as it is right now, the first party PlayStation output, and then theoretically the Xbox output as well. Game Pass as a value proposition has to outweigh PlayStation's value proposition of more games, and for some people, it might. I don't think that amount of people is that big, and let me explain why. The people that Game Pass has so many games and they're playing a lot of games, and that's great. Yo, a lot of value there. That value dissipates when you think about the fact that a lot of the people playing a lot of games, they are very invested into gaming as a hobby, and they're going to have disposable income to buy games as they come out, or they're buying more games than just Game Pass subscribers. In the sense of Game Pass, I always have thought it's incredible value. Like, you look at Game Pass in 2025, it is nuts, absolutely nuts, but I do think people sometimes think that it's this crazy amount of people that are going to have interest in South of Midnight. Then they're going to get value out of Game Pass again with Claire Obscure Expedition 33. Then they're going to get value later that year with Ninja Gaiden 4. And they're just getting value after value after value. I just don't think there's a lot of gamers like that are going to find that level of value. Game Pass and gaming is different than Netflix, where I do feel like a lot of people that buy an Xbox, that buy a PlayStation, they buy 3 to 4 games a year, and then they have their live service game that they play all the time. Netflix, do you have like a live service television series that you watch that you're like constantly going back to? Oh, microtransactions here. Oh, new content updates for The Office? No, that really doesn't happen. You're constantly jumping from show to show. I don't think that really exists in gaming, where I do think there's so many people that just play their live service game and a couple games a year. I think that very much outweighs the amount of people that are like me playing every major game coming out. And a lot of us exist, but people like me are also so invested into gaming, where a lot of you guys are okay with spending a premium on these games and having these games digitally or physically to own, that those people may not find Game Pass as that attractive of an option. What I'm saying is, I feel like the target audience for this Xbox has gotten so narrow. The people that buy an Xbox, it's this narrow audience, because the large majority of gamers, I really do feel they buy a console, and this is a big casual audience as well. They're playing their live service games every year. Call of Duty Black Ops, Marvel Rivals, whatever big game is out. Maybe they'll buy a Madden. Maybe they'll buy God of War here and there, but they're not gonna extract value out of a service like Game Pass every single month, even though it does have value to the people like me. But the people like me are also so invested into gaming that we're okay spending money on premium games. That's what I feel the issue with Xbox from a hardware standpoint is that who is this hardware for? And those people absolutely exist, that they want to get immense value month over month. They're not trying to spend $60, $70 every game, and they want to play these games at launch. They don't want to play older games that are discounted on the Xbox store. They want those day one Game Pass options. That audience absolutely does exist. I just don't think it's this overwhelming audience that is going to give you a big space into the console market ever, because I think a lot of people, if you're a big Marvel guy, you're going to look at it and be like, hey, on PlayStation, I get Spider-Man and Wolverine. You know, I play a couple games here and there. I don't need Game Pass. I'll just go buy a PlayStation 5. That's what I feel like is going to be more of a predominant thing going on. But let me know what you guys think. I know I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I just feel like Xbox, from a hardware standpoint, there's not this significant pool of people that they can draw from that are going to be super invested into their hardware. They're just going to go the PlayStation route, and then if you do get an Xbox, it's for Game Pass. And Game Pass is an incredible value. I just question how many people are going to get that much value out of Game Pass for the reasons that I outlined. And maybe I didn't do the best job outlining it, but it's just my thought process on how I assess the gaming market. When you look at, there's casual gamers, there's more hardcore gamers, like the people watching my videos, And then there's somewhere in the middle where I feel like the hardcore gamers, we look at Game Pass and we see, oh my god, this has so much value. The people in the middle look at Game Pass and I could see them finding value in it, but maybe not that much. And then the super casuals, I don't think they'll find any value in Game Pass and they're gonna go the PlayStation route. But that's my 2 cents on that. And, you know, I do think it's important for a console to have those massive exclusives that really do draw you into that platform in the console ecosystem. For Xbox, that in the Xbox 360 era, that was Halo 3, that was Gears of War. Those games were gargantuan IPs in that era. I also think the 360 had the appeal of having such superior online play versus PlayStation. Yeah, PlayStation was free to play online, but Xbox Live at that point was so much better that I just don't think that exists anymore either. Xbox, outside of the games offering, which may be diluted as they drop more games on PlayStation, the drawing card is Game Pass. And Game Pass is an incredible value, but in terms of just drawing people into their console and their hardware, that might not be their goal anymore, and it doesn't look like that's their goal anymore. I just don't think that's going to be as effective. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and yeah, if you understand what I'm saying. I hope I made my thoughts, you know, clear enough where you guys could understand. I think Game Pass is an incredible value. I think the amount of people that are going to be able to utilize Game Pass for its incredible value isn't as big as some people may think it is, and that does become an issue when we're talking about just strictly drawing people into the console ecosystem, which, again, Xbox, it does feel like there's one foot out the door. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your guys' thoughts, and at the end of it, again, Phil Spencer is saying more Xbox games are coming to PlayStation, and that is going to be interesting. We got to get some of these big announcements, but I think Ninja Gaiden is a very notable one that people are losing in all of this because it is an Xbox published game. Think about the Rise of Ronin situation. Rise of Ronin, Stellar Blade, these aren't first-party PlayStation titles, at least how I perceive first-party, but PlayStation didn't give those games to Xbox in the sense of they had these third-party deals and they're gonna have them exclusive on PlayStation. They're not even dropping them on PC right away. I believe, you know, they'll be self-published on PC by those individual development studios, but I digress. It's a different way in operating with how Microsoft is doing it with Ninja Gaiden, where they do get the value of having it on Game Pass, but they're also dropping it on PlayStation right away. I don't know if the deal would have even happened of Ninja Gaiden 4 coming together and being published by Microsoft if Microsoft didn't also agree for a multi-platform release. And it's not even they had to agree to it, that's kind of their MO these days. So it just makes all the sense in the world. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.